Hello and welcome to Scraplifter with Helen. Although, as you can see from those three layouts, I took inspiration from them and created my own. It's not a direct scraplift as such, but there were elements on all three that caught my eye, and I've used them and interpreted them to create my own layout. As you can see, I've started with some basil white marshmallow cardstock, so it's a thick one, bit of craft, which I cut the centre out of so I can use a bit of it later, and now I'm doing some stenciling with, I think it was, what's that, paper or whatever coloured distress ink that was, and one of my new blending brushes. I'm using papers and embellishments from indigo and ivory. I think the range is from pink paisley. And you can see here I'm busy cutting strips because I'm going to use them on the left hand side of the layout. There's no rhyme or reason as to how thick they are, although generally about a half an inch to a quarter of an inch, no, probably about 3/8 of an inch wide, and then I've fiddled around with layout here. I haven't measured them. I haven't really put a lot of thought into placement. I tried to keep them straight, and I'm only putting a little tiny bit of tape on them because I do want to do some sewing. And I just fiddled around with the arrangement as I was gluing them down because I didn't want it to seem like there was a pattern. I just wanted them staggered and different. And here I've got my sewing machine out, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, didn't even finish one strip and the bobbin was empty. So after filling the bobbin and sewing, they're all done. I went through the embellishments and I found some hearts in that I hadn't used before, but there were only, I think, 4 of them you can see me tracing around. So I got some pattern paper out of the 6x6 pad, did some fussy cutting, and now I have all these hearts to use. Plus you will see there are the few odd different ones like that flowery one, the greeny one and a marbly one and a gold one at the bottom, which were the 4 out of the embellishment pack. Here's the rest of the embellishment pack that I'm going through, just trying to see are there some layers, are there bits and pieces that I can use to create this layout. I'm looking for more colour than anything as I'm going through here, seeing what fits, what goes with the mood. Now you can see, I actually didn't like that photo. Originally that was the photo I'd planned, and I pulled out this pack thinking, well, there's blues in it, it'll go. But it's the wrong kind of blue. I just didn't like it on the layout. And so I went through my photos and found some more of my sons and I. And I'm using these two. They're quite dark. They were taken inside the cinemas just before the movie started. So they are dark, but it's the only one I have of the boys and I out at the movies, so I'm using them. Here you can see I've just chopped off a piece of that embellishment to put a layer under the photo. It does, what's the word I want? It's American spelling. So in Australia we have a U in favourite, but I'm going with it because I do like the sentiment. It says favourite moment, I think, or favourite memory, something like that. And it works, even though the spelling isn't quite right for me. I'm going with it. And here you can see I'm just pulling out bits of paper that I've got to do some layering. And I actually thought, I'll leave on that border strip. They have the hole in it from the 6x6 pad, but I've covered the hole up with the photos, and I just like that bit of the floral on the edge. It ties in with the floral heart that's at the bottom, so making that floral heart not stick out as the only bit of that floral pattern on the whole layout. This is where I should have stuck to my normal method of using my double-sided tape, because it didn't go down well. I had to rip off the craft background and redo it. Luckily, it didn't rip, and so it was okay. Here was another place that caused a bit of a problem. I got a a bit of double-sided tape stuck to the photo, but as I always say, that just means that it's a place for a bit of embellishment later to cover up the bit of glue that's on the photo. So I've stuck things down. Well, not quite yet, but I'm working on the bottom. I had a couple of leftover hearts, and there was that sticker from the sticker sheet, and I thought it went quite well. It gave a bit of the green to that bottom section, and this piece was in the embellishment pack, and I thought that would make a good title, Good Times. I build on that title, but it's a good start. Now I'm sticking it down quite, I will say quite a tame layout for me in terms of the background. Usually I like to do a lot of mixed media, and there isn't, other than a bit of inking, that much. It's quite a clean layout for me, but I do still quite like it because of the boys, really, more than anything. I found that word love on the letter stickers or on the sticker sheet, and I thought it worked well. It also brings in the same pattern as one of the hearts. Now, I placed that strip that says "So lucky to have you," because I realised that one of those strips that I sewed on, as the sewing machine went along, it's actually made it a little bit crooked, and I couldn't quite cope with the difference of thickness between the brown strip and that blue, like chevron or arrow strip. So by placing that chipboard, it covered it up, and I could manage to make it look like an even spacing, which satisfied my little tendencies that I have for everything being spaced correctly. As I was building down this bottom cluster here, I didn't like that the 3 stickers in a row, so I pulled that top one off. It was creased and a bit pulled up at this end, so I thought if I turn it into a little flag or a little banner, I can hide the fact that it got a bit crumpled, and I've just moved it up to there. You can see I've also added to the title. I got out the stickers and just added you two, and then I'm now just adding in the word with, so that my title will say Good Times with You Two, not the band, meaning my 2 sons. And I'm just building on to this top left hand corner. I like to have that visual tracking, I suppose, so that you enter in the top left and exit at the bottom right. You can see, and it creates or causes your eye to flow through the layout. Gone in my stash, found a few little enamel hearts. I think they're from Cocoa Vanilla from a while ago. And I found a navy pen to do some journaling, saying how much I love being home with my 2 boys now, because I did miss them while I was in England. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.